Hey guys, this is Captain Frugal reporting for duty, giving you my comic book reviews for the week of April 5th, 2023. All right, everybody, all those of you that are familiar with this know the drill, but for those of you that are new, and we have some new people been joining the channel, I'd like to take a moment to say thank you for subscribing. We really appreciate that. Thanks for joining our frugal force here of frugal friends all getting together and discussing comic books. And if my views differ from yours, that's okay too. Just go ahead and let us know down in the chat below. Just try to be a little civil with it, okay? With that said, for those of you that are new, I give you my reviews of the comic books I read. I haven't read them all, because I mean, let's be honest, there's only so much time and so much money. Matter of fact, I'm a little late on getting this video out as it is. You're gonna hear noises. That's my notes. And I score all my comics on a scale of 0 through 10, 7 being average, so like 70%. I know some people have a hard time grasping that, but that's the way I go. So once again, in the 7s are average, and you will seldom see anything in the 8 and higher range, because that takes something really quite fantastic. So with that said, I give my top and I give my bottom and all the ones in between with a little bit of a synopsis of each one and a very quick review. So here we are. We're going to jump right into it. I'm going to start with my top 3, but definitely make sure you stick around through all the bottom 3, because there's going to be some surprises there, and boy, there's going to be some heat brought. All right, so my number 3 is the Avengers War Across Time issue number 4. I'm also using the League of Comics Geeks for additional information to give you some information on that, as well as other people's views. Only 18 out of 18 liked it, so I'm guessing not a lot of people are picking up this series, which is really sad because it has a 4.1 average rating and 18 out of 18 said they liked it. The King of the Dwarfs has Mjolnir, and the Lava Men are ready to erupt from beneath the earth, while the Avengers are all that stand between Earth and a fiery doom. Kang is up to the perfect move, picking up the perfect moment to strike again. It's written by Paul Levitz, and the art is by Alan Davis, and I'm telling you, the art's okay. This is a good issue. This has been a fun story. Solid art. This really is a nice throwback to the classic style of comics. So if you like more of the classic style and not a big fan of what's coming out today, this is probably a good one for you to get. Not probably, it is. I gave this a 7.9. I think it's great characterization, great dialogue, and really good action, good pacing. This is an issue that I think you'd be surprised if you pick it up, and you'll be surprised at the quality. If you don't, I really think you are missing out on something. My next one, this was a tough call because I'm teetering between two, but this one, I mean, we're splitting hairs on this one. But my number 2 is Flash, issue 796. 127 out of 131 liked it. They have this big of numbers on League of Comic Geeks means that the book is probably selling pretty well. It has a 4.1 average rating. And so this is really good. The 1 Minute War finale. I'm not going to give you a lot of details on this, but I will say Jeremy Adams stuck the landing. Penciler is Fernando Parzan. Once again, I do butcher names, so I do apologize. I gave this book an 8. I think it's an interesting cover, but I really don't like the art style. I think the art style messed up the cover a little bit, but the story was great. The ending was stuck well. And if you haven't been getting this in floppies, definitely should pick this up and trade. If you are a Flash fan, you better be getting this. If you're not a Flash fan, this might make you one. It really was a good series. You get to see why we can't just have the same, have a bunch of characters running around with the same name. It doesn't mean anything, it dilutes the character, but if it's written well, like this, as a family, and you can see how they all work together, this is done right. A great series. And it's so splitting hairs because between this and my number 1, wow, was it close. And if you've been following my reviews, you probably can predict what the number 1 is. And that was none other than Joe Fixit, issue number 4 out of 5. I gave this an 8.1, but unfortunately, I don't think enough people are reading it. It says 35 out of 35 liked it. Peter David's the writer. Peter David has a long history of writing good Hulk. And the artist, I'm not even going to try to pronounce this guy's name. Please go look it up. I apologize. I know I'd butcher it. But if you like Mr. Fix-It stories, you like a good Hulk story, more of a throwback in style, and you want to see the Hulk throw down with the likes of Rhino and Kingpin and have some side story with Spider-Man, boy, this is for you. It had a 4.3 average rating on the League of Geeks, and I'm telling you, this is my number one with an 8.1. I think you should not be missing this. If you're not picking up the floppies, definitely you should be picking it up in the trade. All right, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go into the middle. But once again, stick around for the ending because, boy, the bottom of the barrel this week. Wow, it's going to be hit. We have high highs and low lows. This week is really all over the place. Wow, that's all I can say. I mean, we had some great issues like those Mr. Fix-It and stuff like that, but then we have some that really do a great job of circling the drain. And, you get that sometimes, but boy, this week is a real big splitter. So anyway, we're going to hit my middle now. My first one in the middle is Batman issue 134. I gave it a 7.01. The Batman of Gotham, Part 4, the Toy Box Part 4. It's an all-out war as Batman stands between Red Mask and Gotham City full of bodies. How much is the Dark Knight willing to sacrifice to save the city? It's written by Chip Zdarsky and penciled by Mike Hawthorne and Miguel Mendoza. Once again, I apologize if I butcher your name. 180 out of 203 liked it with a 3.8 average rating. So that means a lot of people are probably reading this, but I tend to agree that the book seems to be going down in the quality. I'm not a fan of the art of this issue very much. I'm also not a big fan of these multiverse stories. I think we're just hitting that well too much. And, maybe used very sparingly can be good, but didn't do it for me. Though I will say, the updated Robin suit. Oh, man, this updated Robin suit. I know it's for the special travel and all, but boy, is that an ugly suit. But I will say, though, this is the best writing for Robin. If you want good Tim Drake Robin, you're getting it out of the Batman series. Definitely, you're not getting it out of Tim Drake's series, which has been absolute garbage and getting canceled and deserves to be canceled. All right, I'm going to move on to my next one that's also in the middle. And this has been a series I've had a bit of a mixed bag, and I like the concept and I like the idea. And that's a Joker, the Man Who Stopped Laughing, issue number 7, which I gave a 7.5. Yeah, pretty solid score, but once again fell in the middle. 47 out of 48 liked it. I mean, that's pretty good. And the sales are mid-level there. It's Matthew Rosenberg is the writer, as well as Ryan Caddy, and the artist is Will Robson. And anyway, following the explosive plans of last issue, the Joker has turned LA into a war zone, and more not is welcome. He's trying to get out of there. His plans is to leave and head back to Gotham to settle some unfinished business there, but discovers that the City of Angels' darkest secret is that nobody gets out easy, and there's Manhunter in this issue as well. And they had a 4 average rating on the League of Comics Geeks, so that's pretty good. I think the first story was fun and had decent art. And it's good banner with the Joker. I'm enjoying the Joker banner in this issue, so that's good too. And the second story was okay, which seems to be a consistent thing to okay or not very good. So once again, 7.5. This might be good to pick up if you enjoy this kind of thing. If you're not a fan of Joker, don't want to follow, then you can probably skip it. But otherwise, I didn't think it was bad in that way, in that regard, if you will. Checking my notes here. I don't want to skip anything. Oh, here we go. My next one is another one that's, boy, this one actually almost made the top 3. It just got squeaked out, which did surprise me a little bit. This series has been surprising me a little bit because this character's had a really hard run the last few years. That's Captain America Sentinel of Liberty issue number 11. I gave it a 7.8. 41 of 42 liked it with a 4.3 average rating on League of Comics Geeks, which means that's mid-level selling probably, which is good. I'm glad to see that. It says, prelude to the Cold War. Captain America and the new invaders may be free from MODOK's mind control. About time, by the way. But they are not yet guaranteed their lives. And with the battle nearly won, the Outer Circle has arrived on the ground to collect their prize. It's up to Steve Rogers to wrestle victory from the power and finally end the Outer Circle's invasion of Manhattan. But choices made at this critical point will alter Steve's understanding of friendship and the stakes of the fight against the Outer Circle for good. It's written by Jackson Lanzing and another writer, Colin Kelly, and the artist, Carmen Carnero. I like the art in this book. Good art. It's good action. There was good pacing. And it's nice seeing some Sharon Carter and Steve Rogers together again. I always like it when those two are together, especially when written properly. But, we keep bringing back the Steve Rogers son, and I never cared for that storyline when he was on that Different Dimension Z or whatever. I'm not a fan of that. If you are, I'd like you to let me know. Were you a fan of that storyline where he went to that different dimension and ended up with a kid? take a sip of my coffee there. Just not for me. But ultimately, not a bad story. 7.8. I know some people are pretty butthurt about that part, but hey, it is what it is. We can only do what we can do. All right, so the next one. This one, last time I don't think I gave it a very good score, but I do think it improved a little bit, and that is Cosmic Ghost Rider number 2. I gave it a 7 out of 10. 31 out of 34 liked it. So not a lot of readers probably for this, with only a 3.7 average rating, which is, I guess, not bad. I give it a 7, so that falls pretty close. Dual Identity Part 2. There are now 2 Cosmic Ghost Riders. One, the reclusive Frank Castle, living in a remote alien planet, and the other is a ruthless assassin causing violent havoc across the universe. Though they never do meet together, but we do have an interesting issue. We have finally, it's picking up the pace. Stephanie Phillips is the writer of this, and the artist is Juan Cabal. It's picked up a little bit from the first issue. I gave it a 7 out of 10. Still nothing to really run home about and say, hey, we got to run to the store and buy this issue. Didn't quite make it there for me. All right, looking at my next ones here. I got to find the next one that falls in the middle of the pack. Oh, nope, not that one. Not that one here. This is my notes going through to make sure I don't mess up anything. Oh, here we are. I knew there was one more. I just had to find it on my notes here. And that was Ghost Rider issue number 13. I gave it a 7.3. 36 out of 40 liked it. So it's got middling sales. Not too bad, but 4.1 average rating. Pretty good. Catches Keeper. Another Ghost Rider is on the loose, leaving behind a wake of fiery destruction and brutality beyond measure. Is Danny Ketch to blame? Or will the clues lead Johnny Blaze to something even more sinister? The writer is Benjamin Percy. The artist is Corey Smith. And I would say it's good art. It's a fun story. But here's the thing. They keep teasing us about Danny and Johnny meeting up. This is the 3rd issue teasing. Quit teasing and start delivering. You can only tease so long and your readers are going to run away. That's why I only got a 7.3. The cover's pretty cool. I get it. And I get they were trying to build the backstory for this to happen, but I think they could have done it in a better way. So that I think they sort of missed the mark a little bit here. Could have been better. This series has been good, though. I'm not saying stay away from this series. It's probably a good one to be reading, especially if you're a Ghost Rider fan. All right. So next, we're going to be hitting the bottom 3. Before we hit the bottom 3, I just want to say thank these people here. Without them, they support our Patreon and Subscribe Star. These videos would not be possible. I really mean that. These people are the producers of this show. They're amazing. And if you want to help support this channel, you can do that as well, too, for as little as $1 a month. We try to do 2 long-form videos each week, as well as a bunch of shorts. And we cover comic books, we cover music, we cover tech, and video games. So a lot of things in the same genre area of people that people tend to enjoy. So with that said, we're going to hit the bottom of 3, and boy, there are some offensive ones this week. We're going to start with the number 3 at the bottom, and that was Venom issue number 18, where I gave it a 6.9. The art is okay, but here's the thing. The story is just slow to me. The pacing of this issue was terrible. But 45 out of 50 liked it with a 4.3 average rating, so my view of it is much different than a lot of people. Al Ewing is the writer, which tends to write, in my opinion, stories that are a little long in the tooth, a little bloated, that he could summarize it a lot quicker. And the artist is Cafu, which that was okay. I am not a real big fan of this direction with the storyline, and maybe that's why. If you like this direction with Venom, because it just seems like they're trying to do too much with the Venom universe, if you will, and pump it up too much, whereas really I don't like that element of the character, but the book seems to have middling sales and high ratings. Maybe I'm the only one that doesn't like it. Let me know your thoughts. I would love to hear that. Now here we go. These are the absolute turds of the week. All right, I mean, these are, wow. And it's sad to say that Spider-Man is landing at the bottom. Spider-Man issue number 7. Ooh, written by Dan Slott. Big shocker there. Penciler Mark Bagley. And that's the kicker. I love Mark Bagley's art. I gave this issue a 6. 63 out of 73 people liked it with a 3.6 average rating. So they're giving it a higher rating than me, but still not wonderful rating. And it's a little over mid-level sales. It's the end of Spider-Verse, part 7. And I tell you this, I wish it was the end of Spider-Verse. I am sick of Spider-Verse. It's just not been good. You got the traditional MacGuffin of Dan Slott here that you get with. You got Dan Slott trying to continue to make his character, Cindy Moon, Silk, something special, because he has something to gain from that monetarily, because he created the character. So instead of making Peter the center and leader of the Spider-Verse, if you will, in the Spider-Verse universe, he's making her, which makes about as much sense as going out in the wind and peeing on yourself. I mean, it's just stupid. And the Dan Slottisms and writing is all over this issue. If you like Dan Slott's writing style, yeah, this is probably for you. But if you're like me, I absolutely hated this. I gave it a 6. This was a turd. This is the turd floating around the pool, if you will. It's not even a Snickers bar in there. It is just a turd. And there can only be one number 1 at the bottom, and this one was atrocious. If you think One More Day was the worst thing that happened to Spider-Man, I tell you what, Zeb Wells is saying, here, hold my beer. And I'm not saying this is quite as bad as One More Day, but I'm telling you, this issue sucked. And that's The Amazing Spider-Man, issue number 23. Penciler John Romita Jr., which is okay for Spider-Man. He's hit and miss, in my opinion, on Spider-Man. But 83 out of 107 liked it. Think about that. Still strong sales for Spider-Man because of his name alone carries the book. It always has, but only 3.4 average rating, which surprised me was even that high. What did Peter do? We open this series with a question. The centerpiece of the answer is a flat-out fight, is what it says, and this book sucks. Let me tell you this. Wow. There is a lot of people that are going to be unhappy with this. Maybe you're different, though. If you disagree with me here, by the way, all means, share it with me. I want to hear it. But Peter is definitely written out of character. I know he feels like he's in a rush and things, but this is just not Peter Parker. His response to Norman does not make any sense. I know he's in a rush, but he gets all mad at Norman, even though he's been working together with Norman, shoves him out of the way, and ends up working with him later at the very end of the issue. What the heck? It's just, it makes no sense. Rather than then, when he goes to see the Fantastic Four and see Reed, and he goes to use his, but Reed's not there, so he goes to use his lab, but he was told he can't until they check out and make sure he's the real Spider-Man. Instead of taking a few seconds to check see if he's the real Spider-Man, he decides he's going to leave and try to find another lab to work with, which will take even more time. This was stupid writing. It made no sense at all, because I know he's in a rush, and that's key. In this issue, he's in a big rush, but it would take much less time probably with Reed's equipment to take a quick test than to jump through all the hoops of finding another lab to work with. That was just stupid writing. And then he runs out, he fights Captain America, the very guy trying to help him, because he tells him it's going to take some time, but he's going to help them. And so he fights Cap. He feels guilty about it, but he still doesn't. He could have just ran away. How stupid can you be? And then he runs back to Norman at the end for help. This issue is all levels of stupid. I gave this issue a 4. This issue is an insult to the character. This is an insult to Spider-Man. Get this team off of Spider-Man. Spider-Man has had bad writing and has not been very good and had glimmers of hope at best ever since One More Day. But I'm telling you, this is, I will say, there was some good glimmer for a little while. And, tell me what writer you think I'm thinking of when I say that. Ready? Chip Zdarsky. He actually did a good job of Spider-Man, I thought, in my opinion. But ever since it has been terrible. This is diarrhea. This is absolute trash. Skip this. Oh man, I can't believe this is Spider-Man writing. This has been terrible. Well, there you have it. That's my views, not yours. Definitely let me know yours. I'm sure you might have some different opinions, and if you do, that's okay. But please just share them. Okay, share them in a kind way rather than calling me phobes or whatever it is, that mean thing. And if you do, well, that's okay too. I can handle it. I got my big boy pants on because, not that hard to deal with. Come to my house, want to fight? I'm ready to go. No, please, we don't need to be mean to each other. We can all get along and disagree as well. So anyway, I hope you all had a wonderful time watching this. If you stuck it out to the end, thank you very much. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. If you don't mind, be good to each other. Help each other out. Until next time, because I think we all need a little bit of friendliness. Yeah.